Hello, everyone. I'm Cheryl Cisneros with the Grassroots Oregon Go Project for the Oregon Developmental Disabilities Coalition. And I'm here today with Ross and Karin and Riley. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
And we're here to create a video for you for the 2021 legislative session. And this video is around preparing to share your story your way. And first, I wanted to reassure you that even though we'll be meeting with legislators on the computer and on the phone primarily this year, that it's very similar to meeting in person. And it's just really helpful to be prepared for your meeting with legislators. We want to consider what you want the legislator to take away and learn from your meetings, and to plan out how you're going to deliver your message and what supports that you want and need to be successful in that. So, Riley, if you want to start us off and share how you and Ross and Karin prepare to share your story or their stories with legislators each year.
Awesome. I'm happy to do that. And I'm lucky that I get to work with these two. We've had many meetings over the last 5 or 6 years with legislators. And my role is to support other people to tell their stories. I use different ways to tell stories based on what works best for people. So Karin and Ross, often you'll ask me to ask you questions and we might do an interview style. Some people come prepared with a story they want to tell and they would just list their story. So there's a number of different methods that we use. And just today, we're going to show you a few of these different ways to help you prepare and talk about the role of supporters.
Awesome.
Perfect. All right. So Karin and Ross, before I get started, I want to ask you, what do you think is important when preparing for a visit?
We want to show that people who have intellectual disabilities can talk up by themselves, in a meeting,
Yeah, and to that is, we also want to tell the legislatures that we want our basic rights, and we all want to be living in our own communities and having different relationships with our own peers and doing our own things.
Awesome.
So my role as a supporter that I'm showing today is asking questions. So why do you think it's important that I don't speak up for the person? I don't speak for the person, I guess is how I would say it.
Oh, because I know, because why we want us to speak up. If we have a topic of, we need better health care, we talk about this, and somebody else might talk about jobs or taking a TriMet to work, and we need DD services,
Yeah, and like Coach said earlier, it also goes to what other people have that they take for granted that we don't always have access to. Like job support and healthcare and transportation.
So it's really the importance of you telling your own story, however it is that you like to tell it. As we show this interview style and we're talking about preparing for a visit, why is it important that a supporter asks you open-ended questions rather than yes/no questions?
Because why we want to get our message across, that we want people to listen to what we have to say in a meeting, because why we don't want to get off the wrong topic. We want to keep on the right smooth in our message, because that will help us in our meeting.
So Karin,
Yeah,
show an example real quick before, and then we'll go to Ross. So Karin, instead of me saying, is a job important to you? Like yes, no, question, answer. I would say, why is working in the community important to you?
Working in a community is important because we want people to know we work in the community like anybody else who has a disabilities.
Perfect. Ross, you were going to add something about why it's important to use open-ended questions.
because some of us do better with open-ended questions. And that's the way that we process our information. And it also comes straight from us because we have to live with it on a day-to-day basis.
Another question I want to ask about the role of supporters when we're preparing is, how do you decide before the meeting what supports would be helpful for you during the meeting?
Oh, sometimes we all say what we want in the meeting. Like some person might say, we're talking about healthcare. Some people might say jobs, transportation, don't cut the DV services because we need them to get paid, you know?
Mhm.
So before the meeting, you decide how people are going to participate, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Ross Ryland might talk about healthcare. I might talk about jobs, or you might talk about keeping our DD services.
Yeah. And Karin, since in this example, I'm your supporter.
Mhm.
You might ask for me to come in and take notes for you
Yeah, we need you to take notes.
and help you afterwards so that you can be
Yeah.
involved in the conversation. Say, Riley, I need you to take notes. That's going to be your
And you
role.
take notes so you can write down the topic, what we're talking about.
Or sometimes, Karin, you might help someone who's nervous and hasn't done a meeting before. You'll help them feel more comfortable, right?
Oh, I would say just take it from your heart and just tell you your story.
I
You
would
know?
say that Karin's like one of the best pep talk advocacy meeting people that I know. I get sometimes nervous talking to legislators because I'm shyer than most people think, and all it takes is a couple
They might
words
be in
from-
your grocery store.
That's right. Yeah, you help me feel relaxed in that way. And it just takes a
They
couple
might say, and then you could say, what are you buying for your kids for dinner? And they might say spaghetti.
Yeah, I was
I don't-
thinking a day we need the trash.
I don't know that I would, I don't know that I would go that far into their personal grocery lists, but I do think that, Karin, you are really great at helping people know that it's okay to talk to your legislators and have a normal conversation with them, to feel comfortable and easy with them, just like we just did just now. And whatever supports a person needs, you always encourage them to prepare for that. So if someone was really nervous, you would encourage them. If they needed help with communication, you would suggest that maybe they have a communication device and you know
Yeah.
how prepare their answers through that kind of tool. Maybe someone needs picture cards to hand to their legislators or a fact sheet to hand them if they're shy or don't want to say a lot.
Mhm.
So yeah, so just in addition to encouragement, having different tools available is super important in practicing and understanding what those tools are. So, but you guys are the experts. I'm going to let you continue talking about how to help people prepare because you've been doing it longer than I have.
You know, I'm going to ask you another question too, to follow up on that. What do you think? So while we're preparing for a legislative meeting, we'll also be clear, what's the end message for these legislative meetings?
We want people to understand that we They have to hear it from us because why we are the expert on it.
And we also live in your communities. And this is how we do things. And people have to learn how to get along with everybody else.
You know, a few other ways that we prepare is we will practice enough to feel prepared, but still have a natural conversation, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
because that is better to be repaired, but then you can go in with confidence.
So confidence, but not memorized.
Yeah, we can't
In
remember.
other words, we only prefer to practice once or twice, then it comes straight from the heart.
Yeah, we
Versus
don't want to go all over
trying
the
to be
map.
like this, like
Yeah,
So
and then we can
kind
be
of
ready
like
to go with the
mimicking your
flow.
own. in a
Yeah.
way.
And we should keep eye contact to the person who we're talking to.
Mhm.
So that's very important. If we don't have good eye contact, they won't look at us. They think, oh, I'm talking to the wall.
Mhm.
So, and then another thing that we help prepare is, same thing. We talked about this, what the role someone is. Maybe there's somebody you want to take notes, or what you want to, if someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer, what you're going to do. So you can prepare for that. And we're
Yeah.
going to talk a little bit more about that in our next video. This is a teaser for that, which our next video that we're going to do together is expecting the unexpected. So
Ooh, that one's gonna
before
be
we get to
fun.
that, I want to wrap up with one last question for the both of you. So what other advice do you have in preparing to talk to legislators?
Oh, just yeah, is the other part is just be repaired and just be natural, and that's a good thing.
When you're
That's great.
giving someone a pep talk, if they're nervous, what would you tell them, Karen?
I would say, don't be afraid, go for it.
What about you, Ross? What's your advice to people who might be nervous or might not
Uh,
be meeting like this over
I
Zoom?
kind of look at it like just be yourselves, because the legislators are part of our community and they interact, but you also got to be polite with the legislature and then be nice to yourself if you make any mistakes. So basically, be realistic.
Good advice. I'm glad we did come to the experts for this advice. And so we will thank you all. Riley, Karen, and Ross, thank you for helping us to prepare to share our stories in the way that works best for us individually. So preparing to share your story your way. We look forward to the next video, which is the how to expect the unexpected. That's going to be a fun one. So tune in to that one and we'll talk to you. We'll see you, and everyone, let's go.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Woo!